Why, hello, Happy New Year!
Gosh, it's not. What, is it New Year for this episode?
It is Happy New Year, everybody. Congratulations, you made it past another year.
Oh man,
possibly the worst one you've had so far.
I mean, we are not, not going to judge if you've had worse years, and 2020 was an amazing year for you. Hey,
wow,
good job.
It's only uphill from here.
There's nothing that can bring you down now. Oh my gosh.
It is a brand new year, and with a brand new year, we're back with a brand new podcast for the first week of the year. This one's, of course, when it comes to New Year podcast, it's always going to be a reflective one. And today at the table, we have with us, I don't know why it's taking so long. It's about damn time.
Yeah.
The backbone of what we do, where we do it, and why we do it. We've got at the table Mr. Bryan Lim.
Hey.
Hello. Yeah, okay, Bryan is with us.
You got to do the who you, what you do.
Yes,
Bryan, for everyone who doesn't know.
Hi, I'm Bryan. I'm a friend. I'm a partner. I'm a co-founder alongside the Mings right here of this company called Blank Slate.
That's right.
This is the first podcast, right?
This is the first time it's on the podcast.
Making a debut.
What episode are we at now?
I think 90?
You know what they say, 90th time the charm.
Wow.
If you guys have no idea, Bryan is literally one of the OGs of everything that we do today. When did I meet you, Bryan? 2010, right? That's like during the blogger era.
10 to 11. Something like that.
Good lord, it's a long time.
10 years.
Yeah, Bryan is more behind the camera most of the time, behind the mic. But today, finally, I don't know how.
This is a bit odd for me.
He's here today, and we're going to be kicking off the year. I mean, I think this because we kind of have to do this as a company as well, to just get work done. But we've had a very interesting 2020. And now going forward into 2021, I think the question is, what has probably the hardest year of our lives have taught us? I mean, unless anyone here has lived long enough to go through 2 human pandemics. I think
got some, maybe like grandfather age.
Who was here during the Black Plague or like the
bit far back.
The HIV outbreak?
We've actually lived, I wouldn't say lived through, but there were certain memorable diseases like mad cow disease.
Okay.
SARS.
Okay.
Ebola.
Okay.
Zika virus.
Okay.
Fever. Malaria.
We're going really back, really far back, guys. I think the closest to us was the HIV pandemic. That was 1980s. Okay. SARS pandemic, 2003.
Good job.
And COVID-19.
Anthrax.
No, anthrax was
a terrorist weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh
okay. So looks like we're all caught up on our major diseases. Bryan, how was 2020 for you? Highlights, lowlights.
Wow.
Give us everything.
Highlights, lowlights. I guess the lowlights is pretty obvious. Corona virus.
Freaking virus.
Oh, man.
I mean, besides that, there's like, early of the year before Corona happened, there's like all this kind of Australian bushfire. There's like
we totally forgot
Kobe
about
Bryant dying from a helicopter. There's like, now there's like unemployment. Happening around the world.
I think you started off with bushfires and Kobe Bryant dying like
on the verge of like an economic downturn.
Wow, I really forgot about all that. Like COVID has really taken out so much of my unexpected brain space. Yeah, actually the year kicked off pretty badly.
Yeah.
It was
Even
like
the start of the year.
It was like the world going to absolute shit already at some point, and then like surprise COVID.
Walao, yeah.
2020.
There was this movie. It was like a world's ending kind of thing. Independence Day or something.
Oh
it was
boy.
2021.
2020 actually.
I forgot,
Hey, no.
Are we in that year now?
I forgot. Was it 2020?
It's a movie, right?
There's a movie. 2012 was the disaster movie. There's like flooding and earthquakes and like
supposedly
double eclipses. I don't know. I didn't watch that movie, obviously.
The best thing and the worst thing that happened is worst thing happened is COVID. Hopefully the best thing is we're still alive and here.
Yeah.
And just say that, okay, wow, I just got the whole, that is interesting. Okay, COVID by far seems the worst to everyone, I guess, because nowadays we're so connected, right? But like in hindsight, the HIV pandemic is like 25 times bigger. Why is COVID such...
It's still going on.
It's still going on.
No, but the HIV thing was like, you can't get it like willy-nilly.
That's true.
You have to like do something to
It's
get
not
it.
like floating around.
It's not floating around. Like Corona is like, we're all carriers.
Oh boy.
Whether it's like active or not, that's a different story. Okay.
If you're naughty, then you get HIV.
It's true.
That's true.
You just don't do naughty things.
You gotta be touching some really weird monkeys.
Or drugs.
Okay.
It's either one.
Oh
but
my
I think, no, let's bring it back to today's podcast. You know, usually you kick off the year with a lot of reflective posts that you see on your social media about the things that you want to achieve, New Year resolutions. We talked about this. And even last year, at the start of the year on 2020, we did an episode on Amen on the Takeaway Table YouTube where we talked about how 2020 was going to be our year. Did you guys feel like, you know, everyone said, oh, new decade, right? Let's make changes. It's going to be our year. Did y'all feel that? And now, a year later, what are your thoughts on that? I feel cheated. I take everything back. I remember there was a part on Amen where I said this is going to be our year. Like everything thus far was leading up to an amazing year. 2020 is going to be our year. And then shit hit the fan. Shit hit the fan hard, man.
There's this thing going on. Everyone wants a refund for this year.
From who?
Do we actually count our birthdays this year? Because I felt like I really didn't age. I just sat in the same chair the whole year.
It's true.
It's tough, man. But I'm going to be one of those people that say that I don't do New Year resolutions. So but I do this. Like what we're going to talk about today. Like what has been the bigger things that we've learned about ourselves or about everything in general in 2020. You know, I think the added point to this is the three of us also dealt a lot with how in the world are we going to keep a team and a company alive in a time where everyone should be, pretty much being retrenched and everything. I think that's a little bit of an extra spin that we got. So hey, work-life balance.
So yes, the reason why Bryan's here today talking about the new year with us is because I think 2020 has been a rough year, not just for us individually, but as a company, as a team, as a decision makers for a team of like almost 25 people. Bryan, what was some of the, I don't know, can you recap 2020?
Let's start the tough ones first. Yeah.
Highlights and lowlights, really. Yeah.
I think at the end of 2019, we personally, the company have this thing called OKR, right?
Yeah.
So even this thing called OKR, where it's basically
Orang kurang rational.
Objective key
yes.
results.
Yeah.
Some people call it KPIs, functioning as KPIs, but we call it OKR. So even the OKR we set for 2020 wasn't really valid for this year.
Yeah.
Everything we thought we were going to do.
We actually geared up a lot, right? In 2019, we were like kind of getting stuff together and like, okay, guys, 2020, we got to, try and do our best. We got to push the company to, as far as we can go.
Yeah.
And then
personally also, I told Ming Yu like, this is the year we need to
try something out. Yeah.
Push it, all out, push it. Yeah.
No, we just shut it down, dude.
but isn't that just like really what life really feels like? Like all your plans and hopes, like you could really just, like I'm really betting on this now, or this could be, this could be the job, or this could be the girl, or this could be it, I think this is my shot. And then, Simon Cowell says like, actually, no, you cannot sing. Who teach you can sing, Wow, that's literally what life did to us, I think 2019 was, we ended the year with a lot of meetings. The team grew to like 20 people. Yeah. We got in like HR and we sat down like, okay, we need to make it count. Then in March,
unexpectedly,
everything just went out the window, man.
Yeah, but thankfully the team really stepped up in a different way because we all adapted to the change.
I've never really asked this, right? But personally, right, what do you guys feel when COVID hit? Like I know we all talked about it as a company, like, what to logically do, with a sound mind, make sure that no one panics and everything, guarantee people got a job. How did you guys personally feel when, oh, wow, we are a red zone, or we cannot go out and do work?
Personally, when COVID first hit, like China, right? I remember the time was Chinese New Year because one of my cousins, one of my cousin actually came back from Wuhan, where
Huh?
What?
but it was before the whole quarantine happened, like a few weeks before.
Did your cousin fall sick?
No, didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Confirm carrier though. Like apparently, like the corona was even 2019.
In December
November,
also got like some spikes already.
Yeah. I don't know, but
confirm carrier.
Nothing happened. So he was studying there, and when he came back, then the news broke, started to break through the whole world, right? And then he couldn't go back to studies also.
Oh.
Then Malaysia started
lockdown and everything,
Then, of course, we all affected lah. Almost half of the team were already very concerned, even though it wasn't locked down yet. And then when the government announced MCO happens, things change, business plans change, operational change. Even our office computers editors got to bring back.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Hey, we're only team. Hey, take the computer back home lah. But I think like work-wise, that was what was going on. Like personally, did you fear for your safety? Like what was the home response?
I personally didn't know. I feel like I was still quite like, I mean, you think about it, right? We went as a company to Bali, company trip. I remember Bryan asking the team, how many of y'all actually are scared of like traveling because of the new news? At that time, not many people were scared, but we all bought hand sanitizer and mask and everything. So we were ready lah. But I think when it finally hit and we were locked, I mean, when I was at home for 3 months, right? Then I realized, oh shit, this is actually quite crazy.
Yeah.
I still wasn't, but until now, I'm still not that scared of it. I don't know why. Maybe because like, I don't feel like I'm going to die from it.
Were you scared, Bryan? Like, what was your response?
Personally, I don't think I'm very scared of it. I'm just being cautious on safety.
Yep.
But I'm not like, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to go into office. Those kind of thing. Also because, okay, there are two sides of a coin. Some people say it's easily transmitted. Some people say it's not so easly. But from what I get it, I feel it's not so easily transmitted unless you're in direct contact with the like fluid that person
came from the dude.
Yeah. I think if anybody here had like reason to be fearful about it, it was definitely Ming Han.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my household at that time was like my parents, and my parents are not that old lah. So their immunity systems, although still was a bit scary. I think Bryan like the only person was your mom.
Yeah.
But Ming Han had like the most reason to be scared because Haley, right? Immune system still developing.
Like I don't even count Haley. Bo, you're freaking crazy because the minute it came for me, I was like on red alert right away.
Yeah.
I remember like I locked down everything. I got a full set of everything new. I developed like a cardboard box lined with plastic to get my deliveries. It was
That's
like
hardcore, man.
spray level.
Hardcore.
Like, I remember the first week, I sanitized all my switches and doorknobs every day. And I made it a point not to touch my face. I didn't scratch my hair. I didn't do anything when I went out, even to go and get mail. Like even the Grab delivery food, right? The plastic itself, right? I sanitized it.
Wow, hardcore.
I was like on some kind of close to germaphobe level OCD at that point. But yeah, for real, I was actually very terrified because I naturally have a lot of allergies and asthma and everything, right? So I was actually really worried, like, oh crap, I cannot bear the thought of Haley being quarantined alone. So I think maybe that really triggered it lah. Personally, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I think I had no problem staying at home. I honestly feel like for a lot of us, because of the work, our nature of work, we were very okay with like sitting down at home and doing work. I remember the first day we all got on Discord as well as a team to talk about and roll things out as well, right? Yeah. Work-wise, I think we kind of handled it pretty calmly, but I think personally, the panic was real.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know how to go and get groceries. I didn't know how to take care. Like, that time, because Haley was still drinking a lot of milk, and then the stocks were running low, and I'm like, do we give her condensed milk with water? Like, what's the backup plan?
No lah, this is so bad, man.
I know, I heard of that. People do that apparently, right?
I know people who do that.
So I was making, and then like, I remember we started buying everything in bulk. So like, I was buying like Coca-Cola 1.5 liter bottles at one go.
What?
Then,
See,
I don't know.
Coca-Cola?
People had toilet paper, had Coca-Cola, same thing, right? So I think personally, one thing that I learned about myself in 2020 from the outbreak is I have a pretty extreme personal response to what is the pandemic considered? A crisis,
Yeah.
a personal crisis, because of family. So I really learned how much like this little baby meant to me this year, especially because she got hospitalized, I think a few months down the road. Then she went back again, and then it was freaking heart attack. No, she didn't get a heart attack. We got a heart attack. The I don't know. You guys took it pretty chill, but yeah, I think I was really scared to a certain point personally. I wasn't scared at home, but I was scared going out. And then then I broke out into all kinds of eczema and like skin problems and shit like that. And then like, but I think with the team it was pretty cool. It was quite fun just being able to talk to people still. But personally, I don't know. I took it pretty serious because of my poor disposition. That's what I say.
It's interesting that we just spent the most of this like 15 minutes already just talking about
Fear.
Corona.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what 2020 was, right? Adapting, and I hate the word new normal, but it really was just kind of us figuring out what life would be. And to be honest, for everyone who's listening to the podcast, it's quite boring, but the reality is that the three of us spent the most of the year figuring out what to do with the company. Business-wise, because that's where we spend most of our time, and also because there's a livelihood of people, of like 20 people in the balance as well.
I mean, that's what we did. A lot of other people on the other side of the fence were trying to figure out what were they going to do if they lost their job.
Yeah.
And then we saw everyone start baking and making bread and selling trinkets,
and whatever,
right? So I don't know. I think fear was a very big thing that everyone learned how to feel and deal with, like in 2020. But I don't know. Personally,
but work. It's hard to say work aside because there's so much of what we do that's work centric, right? What did you feel like you've learned about yourself in 2020? Because there has to be like so. Megan realized that you are a lot more responsive.
I'm close to germaphobe level for crisis. Okay, guys.
Okay.
That's a new discovery about myself.
Yeah. Bryan, what about you?
I guess because of the whole MCO that happened, right? Some positive notes would be like, I've learned to really take a break. Yeah, because for me, I'm naturally just some would regard as like a workaholic. So whenever I feel like I don't have anything to do, I will eventually find something to do. So this MCO had taught me like, okay, it's okay to take a break, especially when MCO there wasn't any existing jobs to work on, right?
Yeah.
So it was good to reflect upon your thoughts, try to adapt and change, replan your whole business or personal, what to do moving forward. I think it's good to have that kind of space in your mind.
Yeah. Did anyone get any new hobbies during this MCO?
Yeah, I did. Did you, Bryan?
I personally actually during MCO I deep dive into all these FPV videos. Not sure if you guys know, but FPV drones.
Views. Oh, okay.
It's called first person view drones. So it's those small drones that actually flies very fast. Some people use it for racing. Some people use.
Do you have a drone?
I actually bought the FPV set. Yeah.
Oh wow!
But personally, I haven't
flight it.
Yeah.
Wait, how long you got it?
It's been a while.
Okay. But also, in the box.
But also because I was testing on a simulator, right? Because usually they will encourage using it on a simulator.
Okay.
So I haven't mastered it on a simulator yet.
Oh dear.
So I didn't want to crash my first drone.
Oh dear.
Wow, that's
so.
I didn't know about this. It's crazy.
Oh man,
that's next level.
What was your hobbies, man? You've been through a few.
So I mean, if you guys know me, I cycle through everything that I can get my hands on in life because I just feel that there's a learning curve.
Oh, sorry. I thought you literally meant cycle because that's what you're doing.
Oh yeah, because I did a lot of things.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think there was cycling. There was reading some new stuff, deep diving into more workflow productivity things, which I find myself. It's very uncharacteristic because I hate being productive, but I think that's something that I learned this year as well. But I think if anything, like Bryan mentioned just now, was that 2020 it was the year that you really took stock of your life in terms of work, personal. There's a lot of changes for me, and I think in the grand scheme of it, I realized that happiness is what you make of it. I think my sources of happiness changed a lot in 2020. Things that I thought I would be happy or who I thought I was, everything got like pulled out from under my feet. So I was like hanging in the balance for most of the year, trying to figure out who I am, especially like going into my 30s or so. But I think, like how people sometimes they all just kind of work to fund their traveling trips, right? Like a lot of our friends are like wanderlusters, or at least they call themselves that.
Yeah, now
and
what?
you see their Instagram is all full of like, oh, I'm in Hokkaido and Tokyo and Paris and stuff like that. What happens when you can't, right? And then you are stuck at home with your mind, with yourself, with your partner, and then you realize you're not happy. Wow, then jalat eh. So I feel if anything, the Corona pandemic year of 2020 has taught me to learn to be content with the small things, which is where you are with who you are with. And it's a small joys lah, because like, I mean, not every day you're gonna, you buy luxury bag, you buy expensive like shoes and all these luxury wears, right? You wear at home in front of your mirror, is it? Most of the time you're wearing loungewear and sleeping clothes that you don't change off until nighttime when you shower at home. And who are you gonna see, right? So I think it's the small things that I've learned to keep myself occupied and happy. And even like moving out this year to stay alone was some of the major highlights of my year. And I realized that, dude, 2020, if there's one thing I learned is that there's a lot of things that we haven't come to terms with about ourselves in our lives.
I was going to say that I remember a very big deal, I think in March and April, right, where people were starting to, I don't know, everyone went into the MCO kind of jokingly like, wow, we finally get a holiday, we don't need to go to work anymore, right? But it turned really real because I think the MCO, I mean, for our friends, especially all, those actresses and the actors and all those social media travelers, right? They finally like couldn't go anywhere. Do you guys think it's a real thing that first part of the year, right, if you're talking about learning anything, everyone had to actually learn to stop and be okay with themselves, because like everything stopped. Like there was no running away and occupying your time with things anymore. You really had, I mean, especially for people who are living alone or like, you live outside or you spend a majority of your time in the office and you have nothing else. A lot of people were forced to be with themselves.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who kept running from thing to thing seemed like they were going a bit crazy because, there's nothing to focus on and everything. Like, I think that window that the MCO really brought on, like that really shook a lot of people was like, oh, dang, what am I without my job now? What am I without travels now? I know I had a lot of friends who were going through some existential crisis in the first quarter, second quarter of the year. But I like, do you guys think it made you slow down to look inside more, or was your first reflex like, I need to do something first?
I think that there was that because I feel like the weight and responsibility of work, not so much of like work, but maybe of the people at work. So that's why my mind was constantly figuring out like, what do we do? And I mean, I have to thank God and thank you both as well that we somehow had like the foresight to expand what we do a year before the pandemic,
just
right?
in time,
right? Because I mean, like if you look at the nature of what we used to only do, which is really production, like all of that got halted for like how many months, and we had, like Bryan said, no jobs and everything. But I think maybe because of our time in the industry, like having our brains constantly move to see what's next was very important. And so that was actually just me, at least for like 6 to 8 months of 2020. Because I was so, I don't want to say afraid, but just like wondering what is the worst that could happen, even like in a worst case scenario. So yeah, that was me actually.
Like for me, there's two sides lah. One thing, yes, I actually personally felt like many other people say also, they spend more time with their parents at home as compared to the usual going to work and so. And some people are not too used to it. Some people are liking it. For me, I'm okay. I guess there's me treasuring the time that I get to spend time with my mom, but also it gets a bit odd that I'm always at home with my mom. And not doing any work. So that's one side. The other side will be how the industry, especially in our industry, how things have changed and advanced. Like previously, we were just doing production. But because of MCO, companies have started utilizing more and more chat apps, team apps, productivity apps, going on Zoom, going on Hangouts, Google, Microsoft Teams. And then there were more new new kind of projects for us as well, like live streams.
Yeah.
Back before MCO, live
Handful
stream,
only, man. Yeah.
yeah, there wasn't any live stream.
Really, live stream was Instagram live stream. Huh?
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that era, man, for a while. Oh, there was a lot of live streams.
yeah. So during the first month or second month of the MCO, we had like one of our first live streams from this client. And then that actually sparked a lot of other client inquiries. Like, hey, we want to do similar to this kind of live stream video. How much would you charge? Would you charge this kind of thing? So that actually sparked off quite a bit.
You know, it's very interesting that you said it that way because, like, you know, before this, you said 2019, we were approaching the end of 2019, right? And we were planning for how can we make the most out of next year, right? To be honest, personally, I think this year...
This year is what year?
This year,
2021
2020. This year, last year.
Yeah.
So 2020 really did that for me because what I learned about myself was, I think for a very long time, I never felt in the industry, there was no desperation to be good. There was no desperation to achieve something because we kind of just cruised along for a very long time, right? And I think we really have the advantage of just being able to work, right? I do think to a certain extent, the thing I learned about myself was when I think it's a crisis or when I think in my mind somewhere like, shucks, this is going to be bad, my whole system responds in a way, okay, not me first, how do we survive as a group? And then we start making decisions from there. And in some weird way, I think personally, I kind of achieved what we discussed in 2000. Not personally, I don't know what as a group, right? But personally, I feel that we wanted 2020 to count. And I think because of COVID, to me, it really counted. Like I learned a lot of things about myself, like how do I need to work optimally? How do I create optimally again? How do I go into what? Or am I doing the right thing? Or how do I work better? Because everything counted. Every job counted. Every single step we took counted. And I think for the first time as well, I never said yes to so many jobs in my life because I just ran on the single mindset that I don't know whether the next job is coming, for 2020. I don't know if 2021 is going to be better. But if this job is coming, we got to do it now. And I really amplified every chance we got. So it really didn't matter if the team was around to work or not. It didn't matter if I had to do it or not. What mattered was if this can secure us and help the team or help our families all get through another month, I'd be doing it. And that was really crazy to realize that it took a pandemic for me to snap into that mindset of how can I guess, make the best out of every single thing that came. Because last time if someone came and said, like, can we do live stream? We wouldn't think about it, right? We would just say, like, oh, it's not really what we do. I guess, we pass it off and wait for another job. But this year, everything that came, we were like, that's not really what we do. But can we offer you something different and, pivot around it or build something around it? And to me, that changed everything, right? Because it actually came back to, like, am I really being creative into how I solve people's problems? Because last time we were just like, yeah, we'll just do this for you. We just go to our strengths. But that really taught me that, wow, we've approached, maybe I've approached being a creative the wrong way the whole time. And being alone like this and being in a state where creativity was absolutely necessary for surviving kind of pushed me personally into this other working mechanism. And today, I guess, we've pivoted into, like, I don't know what we're doing. We're doing everything and everyone's kind of alive. And we need more help now suddenly out of nowhere, right?
I think, like, so where I want to kind of go with the conversation was, I mean, things to be grateful of. I think it's very important to start a new year or end the chapter with things that we want to be grateful of. But I realized also 2020, what we've all talked about was the year of tough conversations. Like within ourselves, with each other, with the team, with like family, with relationships. I think 2020 ended up becoming like the year, it was like a hard reset button. For not just like a new way of living and adapting, right? But a reset button in who we think we are. I think for myself, like, we've had some really difficult conversations in 2020, like between the three of us, about where we want to be hitting, what we should be doing individually also in our roles and all that. But even with myself, I mean, like just now when Ming was talking about the people, like how you are when you're alone. Wow, there was a lot of like mind and heart conversations with myself. I'm like, am I okay with this? Am I doing the wrong thing? What happens if I do this? Like a lot of like, walao, who am I actually?
Because we don't really get the time to do that. What?
Yeah. And I think maybe being in the same space, in the same room for like
6 months.
100 days
Oh, yeah.
really makes you, I mean, because you don't have to think about it. Everything's like the same, right? There's no, your mind doesn't do anything new. You are not even driving out anymore. You're not even putting on different clothes.
Yeah.
You're just in your room. Then it frees up your mind, like Bryan said, take a break, but also to deal with questions you've never answered for a long time.
Guys, that's why I don't wear any other clothes. I just wear one shirt the whole time only. Frees up my mind.
I don't know about that.
You think it does you more harm or good?
I think if you don't,
If you don't naturally do it, it's very harmful. Because suddenly you come back, it's like almost like you visit this room in your mind that you've not visited for like years.
Yeah. I mean, harmful or not, I feel if you don't use it to your advantage, it can be harmful.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you feel like overwhelmed and like, oh, I can't do anything about it, then it's harmful. But I think for myself, the question was always like how, like, I live by the, maybe it's a bit big for me to say I live by the this motto, but I always believe that everything we do can be done better. Right? That everything that we're already like is happening in life, there is a better way to do it, or you can improve it. And so maybe with that and how I frame my questions, things turn out okay at the end.
Then what do you think? I mean, since like we've been talking a lot about the struggles and stresses, right? What's the best thing that's happened to you in 2020?
Bryan, your stuff first. I need to think about this.
Like for real, okay, I'll get the ball rolling, I guess. The best thing that has happened to me, it kind of sounds a bit weird. I think just 2 days ago, when I wanted to go, we had to go out for work, right? Because nowadays, like we need to go for some meetings, right? Haley cried when I left the house. That's very big to me.
What?
Because
that's the
she
best thing
didn't
ever.
want me to leave. So before that, she didn't give a shit about me.
Wow.
She just, as long as her mom was around,
Yeah,
right? It's fine. But this time, when I was putting on my mask, she ran up to me and she was like, Papa, so like, carry me. And I'm like, okay, I'll carry you, but I need to go out. And then when I wanted to pass her to Suyen, she didn't want to let go because she knew I was going out. And why I say this is because I think in a very weird way, I have a very rare chance for a dad to be like, for me as a dad to be around Haley in a very important time of her life where kids usually just cling to their moms. You know, so I think to me that was like the best thing that has happened to me this year. In the real silver lining was, I mean, yes, I'm not going to downplay. We're still alive and working as a team.
Yeah,
just saying,
that's great.
okay. But for me personally,
The time spent.
yeah, I feel that the time spent with Haley has been absolutely precious. And it's not like I'm taking her of her like 8 hours a day. I don't. But I'm there when she turns over and gets bored of her mom. She has another like partner to play with. And I think, wow, it's just very dear because suddenly I realize, now I'm necessary to your life, you know. Now I go out, you
I'm
cry,
not just funding it, you know.
Yeah, no, really, because before that's all I was. I'm the guy who brought home the milk powder, you know. That was
You're the investor.
yeah, that was very precious to me because like, oh wow, I matter to this little girl who like I'm not really sure knows who I am most of the time. So that was I think that to me was very big joy in my personal life of this year.
Would you be okay if Haley grows up still sticking to you?
At some point, I'm going to ask her to cut it out, but you know.
I think we understand Megan treasures his space.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is like a balance, but I'm in some very new territory because like me and Ming Yu never really stuck to my dad.
Yeah.
Ming Li never stuck to my dad.
Yeah.
But I see Haley sticking to me is like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, is this normal or what do I do next? But also it's quite good because then I can tell her like, yeah, that's a weird boy. That's also another weird boy. Don't do this, don't do that. So maybe growing up, I'm pretty sure she'll want her own space. I'm enjoying it while it lasts for now. So yeah, that was nice for me, guys. Okay, take it away, please. Fun times. Everything is on the table.
I guess the good thing about 2020 is as a company, we managed to bounce back from like the coronavirus.
For 6 months of nothing, right?
Yeah, for 6 months of almost nothing.
It was scary, like seriously.
Yeah.
And then also rediscovering the team's ability and strength and capability as well.
Yeah.
Through this whole change. Then personally, I also got a new girlfriend.
Yeah!
Public statement!
Bryan has never
podcast.
said this to us.
Verbally.
Although we knew for like a couple of weeks, but it's the first time,
it's a
Bryan.
thing.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yep.
Is that?
Moving on
that-
to you.
Oh, dude.
That's.
I mean, it's quite eventful.
Oh no, we got to circle back to this. Oh, no, I think it was very weird because remember we were going into this year and we were really thinking like, what in the world do we do with everyone in the team? Like, are we using everyone's strengths? Are we using like, is people happy? Are they being fulfilled of what they're doing? Maybe it took a pandemic to really just sort us all out. Like, okay, there's no room to choose anymore. We got to do this. We got to do this. Everyone has to pull their weight. If you're not doing anything in that sector, we have to change you to another sector. And who knew it worked? So, hey, thanks Ryan, thanks Maxine for becoming whatever you needed to be for 6 months.
Yeah, also thankful that we didn't need to actually cut people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
That was
even
actually a very
just-
big worry. Yeah. Hey, congrats on that's the best part. In the middle of pandemic, you can find girlfriend.
Yeah, good job.
That's love finds a way,
Congratulations.
man. That's literally the phrase, Wow, love will find a way.
Mine is...
Someone what? Doctor, right?
Huh?
She's a doctor, right?
How you know?
Hey. That's called a friend.
Bryan's gonna get first dips on the vaccine, right?
Oh man. Hey,
Hook us up, man.
open up a clinic here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
For me, mine's just like the opposite of happiness this year. This year's so painful. But I think maybe the things that I'm grateful for is maybe just really, I mean, we always say this, but I cannot downplay this enough. Like, we have such a great team. I'm so proud and happy and blessed and grateful to have the people that we are working with. Not just
Yeah.
because that they are fantastic in their abilities, but I genuinely enjoy hanging out with like our team. That's one.
Yeah.
Second thing I'm really grateful for is like people are like I'm grateful that I managed to finally, what was supposed to be a year ago, finally moved up to my own place. Which is actually Minghan's old place,
It's
but
not
I
like
renovated it.
it's not your fault you couldn't move out. I couldn't move out either.
yeah.
Okay, we like no one could move.
No one could move. I'm really grateful for that. I think just because like living alone does change you, and I think finally I get to kind of continue that chapter after like 10 years of like not living, 8 years of not living alone.
Yeah, this is pretty funny because Mayu just cut his own finger last night, and
Yeah.
that's the
right
bane.
here. That was
That's
really
the
fun.
bane of living alone.
How's
But
it
yeah,
been so far though?
it's so painful. But I think because it's pressurized, I don't feel it that much. Whereas the acid glue was disgustingly painful.
But how is it? How has living alone been so far? What's different from living with parents?
I think for me, it's not just the no. I wouldn't say no nagging lah, but it's fine. I think for me, it's the absolute quiet when I come back home from a long day and do things. Cause like it's really weird. Like when you live with parents, when you live in a family, right, and people do different things for you. Like they wash your clothes, they prepare food for you, right. It's not just. I mean, there's taking for granted. But when I realized that for me, I actually clean a lot more when I live alone. Like I clean so much more. But doing things on my own timing, it's not that I wake up late. I wake up every day at like 8 o'clock to like do stuff, right? Having that space and quiet to have my thoughts to myself, to be grateful of the little things, to sit down like at night in the darkness with like one light on watching TV. It gives me a lot of space just to be thankful for. There were a lot of emotions that I had to like struggle with when I moved out because like when you're alone, you're absolutely nothing. Wow, they were like
It's just quiet. lah.
there were like times I would come out from the shower still wet, but it's like from tears. It's like
Wow.
what's happening?
Wet and naked and walking
Yeah,
around.
wet and naked.
That's disgusting.
But no, I think
man.
it's something that I really appreciate and treasure. And I think moving on to this new chapter of my life, it's a very good sort of like anchor ground with all the changes that's happening. But I always tell the team and whoever we have the chance of working with, right? I really think that there's a lot to be grateful for, even if it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how I want to enter into 2021.
Yeah, that was what I think we should go into this to wrap this episode up. How has the 2020 year prepared you for 2021? Like, do you think you're coming out a different person in 2020? Because not many times we can say that. Every year we'll go like, oh yeah, we made resolutions and we I guess never followed them. But I think 2020 was like a freaking boot camp of a year for our souls as people. It really tested you and like proved your worth to yourself. If you're flaky, if you're doing it for the bling, I've seen so many change because of money. You know, money is a really big deal this year, right? I've seen so many people change because of the stress and the pressure, and they just had to do things to survive. So they just did whatever lah. So like 2020. Do you think what has it prepared you with? Like, what is that confidence you're going into 2021 with? You know, has it what part of your character has it built to face this next year of like, will we get the vaccine? Will things be normal? Will things get worse? Now what? What do you think?
I think it's also part of like building up your resilience and adapting to change.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I mean, since everyone, congrats to everyone who went through and successfully survived the whole.
If you didn't, then you can't listen to this
That's
and
true,
try
that's
again
true.
next time.
That's true. But yeah, since we all kind of survived the whole pandemic or coronavirus, and the whole change to what has happened, what has trickled down from the whole COVID, right?
Yeah.
I think we're more prepared right now to face challenges that's even greater than before. And I personally feel like we would be more confident in terms of facing any potential crisis lah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Downturns and so on.
I think business wise, it seems as if like we made something that's resilient to pandemic circumstances, and I feel like I think the team should know that they should be very proud of it. Like just going through a place where people are losing jobs constantly, and just figuring out and like doing what it takes. I think wow, like moving forward, I feel like we've built in ourselves and in a team, like no matter what it takes, the next step. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like to me, priority was so clear this year. Like crystal clear what to do first and what to do second. And I was like literally like, the biggest thing lah, you guys, like you all know like, oh, when's the next TMT video or when's the next piece of entertainment we're going to put out? This year was like the clearest year in saying like, no, this has to be first, this has to be second, this has to be third, because if we don't do this, we're not going to be here next month. And I feel like that really just prepped me for a lot of like what we can plan for next year. And what about you? That's that.
I think at some point of like 2019 or early 2020, I mentioned that that over the years we've done different things, and I think finally in maybe the end of 19 or 2020, I finally moved into a position or role or space or time of my life where I'm a bit more confident in what I'm doing. I know what I'm really good at, and seeing myself do that this year made me, maybe the word is confident lah, to enter next year knowing that, okay, this is what I'm really good at. And I know that I'm going to grow more if I put my hand at it. But also, for everyone, I mean, wow, this has been such a reflective conversation among the three of us. But for everyone else who's listening in, if there's anything I would strongly encourage or recommend you to do in 2021, right, even with or without the coronavirus, is to find like things that you can be happy and contented with in life. Because I realized like at the end of the day, when you take away Instagram and like your fancy pictures and shoes and the latest gadgets and all that, right, you find your happiness in that quietness, right? And if you're not happy in that quietness, right, then you're actually not
everything
happy.
else is noise.
Yeah.
Everything else is the filler.
Because I mean, like social events and parties and clubs and holidays, they're great, but what happens when you don't have that, right? And I have had a lot of difficult conversations with friends who are struggling with the fact that they are not happy where they are in life. And it's a scary thought, but maybe when you actually put time to it, you can actually start to improve in small ways. So for me, one of the big things is I hate exercising. I know I must exercise, especially if you're at home. I bought a bike and I was like, you know what, I need to start moving. And I really enjoy riding. I haven't ridden in a month because of like the whole move and everything, but it's something I really enjoy exploring and doing. So small things like that, I really encourage you guys to maybe find a new hobby this 2021, because there's so much time and space at home.
I think we remember we talked about a bit about like the person you are by yourself is the real person, right? I think, like to hopefully try and end this on a more epiphanic note. I think that whole deal about realizing that, oh wow, no matter what you did or no matter how much you went out there, it's just not like, it's not the same. Or like, why do these things not make me happy and stuff? Then you sit at home and realize that actually, the problem, you're just not even happy spending time with yourself. I think that has to be sorted out first, because no amount of events or like going out and achieving careers or stuff like that is going to make you happy if you can't stand sitting at home and looking at the guy in the mirror or the girl in the mirror. And I think that is the biggest thing that this year gave us the opportunity to do. I'm not underplaying the fact that some people actually had, some mental health distress and everything. So please, for you all who need help, I'm sure there's a lot of people standing by and giving numbers as well. So please contact proper mental health professionals if you all don't need to. But man, we want to wrap this episode up. It's been, 2020 has not been easy for a lot of people. We're not going to underplay it. If you survived it and you're going to survive anything, you made it through, guys. It's been a really heavy year. And here's the 2021. Man, we don't know.
Such a heavy podcast to kick off the year.
Come on, man. And New Year's resolutions, we're not going to make any other than the fact that we just got to make it through this year again. And we got to keep hustling, guys. We're doing it well. We are built to hustle, all of us. But hustle right, hustle healthy. And please, cases are 2,000. Who's going out? Please wash your hands, wash your phones. And it's not Feng Tao time yet. Okay, so please be safe, guys. The vaccine is not here yet. Who knows when we're going to get it? We're not on the priority list probably. Bryan, any closing words to the hopefuls of 2021 who want to get out there and run a business and make things count and get a doctor girlfriend? What would you say?
2020 may be a year that everyone or all of us want to forget, but it is actually a year that everyone will remember.
Yeah.
So use this year to bounce back or to strengthen your whatever that you're going to do in the coming years.
Amen. You want to wrap it up?
Man, I wish you guys the best. That's all I can say. I cannot even make any sweeping predictions anymore or telling you this is going to be your year. It is what you make of it. If you don't feel it's your year, then it's your problem, guys.
Sorry, we can't take care of everyone. Take care of everyone. Go take care of yourself, okay?
But in all honesty, I just hope you guys had a time to maybe just reflect about the year that just ended and also what you want to see happen for yourself this coming year. We share with us what your resolutions are, if you have any, or some of your highlights or moments to remember, to take note of 2020 and what you want to achieve in 21. Have a great week ahead, guys. This week is still a week of sitting and making sure you don't write 2020, but now make sure it's 21. Yeah. If you want more takeaway content, follow us on Spotify and YouTube, as well as a brand new bunch of content coming to you on YouTube's and Instagram store, Instagram TV, Instagram platforms on the Ming thing as well.
Wow.
Other than that, this has been a reflective podcast for more us than you. I hope you guys enjoyed and maybe just had something to think about as well. Thanks, Bryan, for being at the table. We'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Man.
Oh, before I end, I just want to share a quick one. This is a brand new song/music video from Talita Tan. Check this out. This one's Get to Know.
Thinking about the things that we would do.
Oh, cantik man, this music.
I don't know you, but I want to
The song is
get to
playing
know you. Would you
video on
let
us.
me come close?
Wow.
Na, 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 na,
So nice, guys. Check it out on YouTube. It's also on Spotify. Make sure you support your local artists. That should be a resolution for 21. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Happy 2021.